the senior pastor of the church, and his wife, Postoli, and Pastor Mahlangu, Mondli, ophakathi wethu, and no Pastor Ndo, ongaphakathi wethu nomama wakhe, and nogogo Nkosi, ohleli ngale emuva. Amanye ama-pastors besinawo ekuseni ku-morning session, akekho manje. So we always have 2 sessions in this church, and then abaningi bagcwala ekuseni, and then afternoon asibi nabo abaningi kangako. So the next thing that happens in this church is that we have allocated 1.5 hours for each session. Morning session goes, for 1.5 hours, and afternoon session goes the same. And then we have 30 minutes, of the intercessory department. And then we have another 30 minutes for the worshiping team. And then I take 30 minutes. So altogether, comes to 1.5 hours. But today we dedicated this day to the inmates. And we're so grateful that they came. I'm so proud of you, Ntwana Yagachuel. Itayima lakho besilbiza ukuthi uBrachuel like us. Umuntu ongazi uBrachuel usanda ufika la Witbank. Amen. So itayima lakho siyalazi sonke. Nami ngwa-like us lana. And I spent most of my life in this township. I know so much, and I'm so grateful that you recognize me, for who I am then and now. Kulele kasi, kenama utasekasi, yonke into. Lepunlele wakhuluma ngabo person bengiba naye ejimini. Sijima nabo person, but as you would know, basibandlulula vele, but we're in the same gym. Person nethu sibhama ngizange mina ke ngihlangane naye. But person ngiyamazi nalokuthi ushaya abantu and nokubulala abantu. Bengikholwa leso sikhathi leso mina, mara person bengifisa ukuthi ke ngimbambe nami ngelinye ilanga. Animazi person nina. Ehlupha lebhunyo. Na omunye umhlamba ngibona ngathi ngisiyanga mina ngimdala ngina 69 years manje. Salele i1 year ngibe na 70. Net ijim engiphethe ngalendlela le. Namanje I'm running. Omunye uhlangane nami on Tuesday, ngoba Tuesday ngishika la ekhola eTokanjini. La eCostas la ngikhuphuka iHighveld ngiyojika le kuMantokanje. Sithini la kuMahasi ngesini. Afrox. Jika lapho Tuesday bengilapho. Sukela eCostas ayoshaya Afrox ngabuye. Yebo. It keeps me, healthy and young. When God gives me abilities to do things, it becomes a combination of the energy and the energy and the vigor I have that, is obtained from hard working. So you need to do that because God can't bless you out of thin air. You have to do something. Yes, you must eat right, you must live right, you must set, certain, diagrams for your life and say, okay, this is where I have to fit in and stay just within the, like I have taught you ngentokanji kufanele ubeke phakathi kwamoya ngcwele. But let's leave that. Now, Ntwana kaJoel, you guys came to us to say we want space because we want, to come and blow our chest in the church as part of asking for forgiveness, to the victims, which is very important. But I think with this time around, it's going to be us, the church, that are going to invite you. Because what you guys came to do is one of the most aspect of things that we need to do. Look, We have to understand that, you cannot separate the church from the community, and you cannot, separate the community from the church. Once you embrace that mentality, even your behaviors will be just different, because knowing Uguti, that you are in a church does not, exempt you from the behaviors of outside the church. The same behaviors. The people that are in here are the people that are out there. Okay? So I'm here to say, I would personally like Uguti. We will talk with the board, but first with the board of my church, we are going to invite you. If the inmates can, be formally invited by an organization or a church, we're going to do that, because we have to come back. The things that happen, zenzekile ngabantu. Labantu nginabo la isonto nabantu njengani. Amen. The same logo kusho umfana kaJuwel la ukuthi there is no one who can beat his breast here and say angeke ngifike ePestern. If you have not arrived there, it's God's grace. So ngenkathi usakhuluma ntwana kaJuwel, inhliziyo yami ebuhlungu kakhulu, moya wami ulimele kakhulu. There is one aspect that you have touched ukuthi kunabantu abasePestern ngoba hayi ngoba baplana ukuthi nabakhulu abazoya ePestern. They never planned that. They never sat down ukuthi nanginyaka so ngifuna ePestern. They never planned for it. It was a coincidence of life. It happened coincidentally, and they happened to be there. And when they were there, I believe ukuthi most of them, uNkulunkulu have taught them so many things about humanity, right? Remember Ethel, when I was talking about la isontweni ukuthi kwesinye isikhathi umuntu ongadlulanga ezimenge ungamtrusti, ngoba ukudlula ebuhlungwini kukufundisa ukunderstanda abanye abantu. Ukudlula ebuhlungwini kukufundisa ukurespecta abanye abantu. Ukudlula ebuhlungwini buyakwakha in terms of your perceptions, how you look at others. Bona ngokwabo basePestern namhlanje mara bafunde impilo ngendlela engcono, like asho umfana kaJuwel. Now number 2, why sisi ngithize kuwe ungamhlalisi phasi lo mfana kakhuluma. I have studied, counseling in psychology. I'm holding a master's degree in that, right? And I wanted to endeavor my PhD, but but what's the point? The point is, Professor Manyano ukuthi the first rule of counseling when you have your client, now client, the first rule is to make sure that what he was contained in his chest, it must be blown out. So give him an opportunity according to the rules. But you have to give, your client about 45 minutes or even an hour. Akhulume yonke into abhodle isifuba sakhe ngoba uma abhodle isifuba sakhe ucreate ventilation for psyche yakhe. Nasithi umuntu ubhodle isifuba sakhe sisho ukuthi kunalento esibiza ukuthi psyche la kubuya khona ama-brains akathepa i-information lapho. Uma unezilonda njengoba asho lo mfana ukuthi unezilonda zokuthi naye wenza okubuhlungu. Izilonda zihlala ku-psyche and they can hide for many years. Many years. But izilonda into ehluphayo trigger. There are things that when you look at in any environment, and then when they rise up, they trigger what is deep in your psyche. So we allow people to sit down and talk to us. Asiba interfere nakakhuluma njengaye bilobe kakhuluma la bengafuni futhi ba interfere noma ngabe uthethe hour lami lokushumayela, it was fine because I wanted to achieve 2 things, ukuthi akhulule umoya wakhe asinike ne-information ezosinceda kusasa. That was my point. So I'm so grateful Ntwana ukuthi we gave you an opportunity, but we are still going to invite you. I want you to, by this time around, it will be not, in terms of blowing your chest, but it's in giving information, parting information, to your peers, because they have to understand ukuthi impilo ikanjani. These days I was studying behavior abantu and school of thoughts. What do psychologists say? Where does a behavior of a person emanates from? The derivations of your behavior. What do psychologists say? What do anthropologists say? What do philosophers say? What do other schools of thought like biology and even theology says? What makes a behavior of a person? I was studying in that, this past 2 week terror. And ngathola ukuthi there are so many things that we have missed empilweni. That's why we are misinterpreting people. Do you know ukuthi kunabantwana empilweni impilo ibezwisa ubuhlungu because of ama mistake abazali babo? Yes. Ingizwise ubuhlungu indaba ye-behavior ima ngithola ukuthi 50% yabantu abadivorceayo ba-linked kuma-genetics. Ubuya ku-family yabantu abadivorceayo. It's genetical. It's painful. It's painful. Uthola ukuthi kune-family bonke abafana bakhona bafundile mara bonke izidakwa. Genetical. Uthola ukuthi kunamantombazana amahle wonke ayabuya emendweni. Abuya ku-family genetically this thing azange kube nomuntu okwazi ukuthi ayimise lento kwenziwe lento ebizwa ukuthi mutation. What they are doing with correctional services ukuthi ba-rehabilitate, but there is no rehabilitation without mutation. Go to Google and ushaya ukuthi what is mutation, because genes must be mutated. Njengoba ngokubona wena there are two things in you. Number one is genes and the number two is DNA. With DNA akababakho, whether you like it or not. Ungama-genes akababakho, whether you like it or not. So umuntu uyazikhethela empilweni ukuthi mina ngifuna ukumutate, ngifuna ufana nobabami. Ubabami end up somewhere. Mina ngifuna end up somewhere. So those are the, yes, those are the principles of it. So namhlanje I was saying in my heart, hey, akakhulume lo bhuti lo azawuphulula umoya wakho. Sifuna ukuthi amanye ama-inmate niwalethe. This time around, ngizocela izinto ezithukini. Ngizwile baba Mndobe ukuthi you are responsible. Ngiku United Forum la elections siphethe inhlanganiso yabafundisi bonke. We would like to come to you and speak to you. Ukuthi baba Mndobe with your team. We want you to give our inmates an opportunity, a bigger stage where they can talk to people. So from the capacity of your organization, A2, we have to meet with you and sit down and lay out, a plan and come up, with amanto kanje ukuthi singenza kanjani. I think ukuthi kungasinceda kakhulu for efficacy. Because now you came and operate on a small scale. This is small, we want a broader scale. We want to make it a broader scale. It has to have, a broader perspective. So I think ukuthi now ngahlangana nathi abafundisi, and then sibheke ukuthi can there be dates where we can make churches to meet together? Oh, I guess what happens if you people come to speak to us first, and then we proliferate the information? After proliferating the information to our churches, and then we have one big thing, we pastors become responsible of getting all our members, our church members, in one big venue, and then we let these people come and talk. What do you think can happen? Those are the things that we need to do. One. So in that capacity, I think I have, the access to pastors through EUF Uniting Forum. I can do that, and we can come and sit down, and then we take it further. And then two, mina vele la isontweni lami ngizonimema futhi. Ngiyazi ukuthi iziboshwa futhi ziyakwazi nokucula. Kake nisilethele iziboshwa kezosiculela la kamnandi. Sijabule nazo. Sijabule nazo, and then give them, that necessary love. Look, what is happening? They may be, perpetrators, and we may be victims, but there must be that, mutuality of understanding. Ethel, we need that mutuality. Look, the belief I'm teaching in this church, Uguti, every person was made for someone else. God has invested in you what benefit others. So you can't keep what God has entrusted in you. He trusted you, Uguti. If you have those things, there are other 10, 15, and 20 people that can really benefit from you. So there are things we can benefit from them. There are things they can benefit from us. Let's create that platform. Let's create that platform. Let's have these people coming. Otherwise, inmates, la kule sonto lela, kusisonto leli. Sibiza i-Sunday college. Asishumayeli la kule sonto. Sifundisa abantu ama-techniques. Sifundisa abantu ama-principle la kule sonto. Sitshela umuntu la kule sonto ukuthi there is a distinction between a principle and a fact. If uphila impilo yakho, it's either uphila ngama-principles or uphila ngama-facts. Uma uphila nge-facts, zonke into ezingama-facts zi-temporal, zonke izinto ezingama-principles zi-permanent. That is what we teach here. That is what we teach here. So basically, when you come to this church, you don't come to a church at all. You come to a school. That is school. We have. If I may put it that way, sikhulile sadlula ukuthi solo sashumela la kusashunyela ukuthi isidakwa ziye ezulwini izingwaba abane sikhulile kuloko sidlulile kuloko ashumayeli ngezingwaba abane la nezidakwa yonke lento la no why utshela isidakwa ukuthi isidakwa ngoba siyazi ukuthi isidakwa. Why don't you bring a solution phase rather than telling you it's the solution phase that we need, not describing a person for who he is. Right? Uma ayistagwa, product the environment indoctrinate. So you are indoctrinated, but how can you help mutate you from that to this? That is what we need to do. So with this. Now, thank you so much, Mr. Ndo. And those are the two things I wanted to bring to you. Maybe lastly, before Apostle, I ordered a book by Biza Uguti, The Dark Side of a Man. Kuhash realities ngakhuluma nge-dark side of a woman. Now, kule ncwadi engayi-order overseas, ingithathe 3 months to arrive here in South Africa. You don't find it. Even no Amazon, I will tell Dark Side of a Man. Go and trust, go and try. Hamba uye bookshop, uhamba uye, even no online, ufune Dark Side of a Man. You can't get that book easy. It's expensive food. But I wanted to study from good dark side of a man because every person in life has his dark side. Whether ngumzalwane or ngumzalwane, you have a dark history. Right? So I needed that book and ngailinda patiently about 3 months. So long for they are shipping it and whatever. And because you can't find that book. And the author is good, Baba. Now, so 1 o'clock. Ebazalwane phela le ishumayelo lesengqedile nangiqeda la siyavala. So salinda ishumayelo unfortunately ayikho namuhla. Ibe ikhona la bekushumayela umfana kaJoel la isontweni lami siqedile namuhla. When I finish here, we close, we go. Now, I was studying certain things, about the dark side of a man. Kune portion lababuza khona ukuthi is a male person born bad? Hey, Apostle. Umuntu wesilisa wazalwa engumuntu bad na. And then the author says, yes, man was born bad. So, I studied Uguti, what are the causal factors? Because, when you look at the thing, you don't deal with the symptoms. Symptoms tell you, good, there is something wrong here. But what is the causal factor? You deal, with the causal factor to eliminate the causal factor so that you may not see. Now, if umuntu wesilisa adalwa abed, right? Fanele ukuthi sincede abafazi ukuthi na ushada umuntu wazi ukuthi ushada umuntu onjani. Ithi amen. We must help them because there is what they call evolution of sex differences, not sex as copulation, ukulala nomuntu, no sex as gender. You know, what are the evolutions of sex differences? Bahluke abafazi kunathi. See, abantu abaningi bangena emshadweni, they don't even know the distinction between amadoda nabafazi. When ngikhipha le nto kanje le video yami le eyatrenda lena ukuthi ngikhuluma ukuthi why men are violent. Nangikhuluma ngala techniques lawa. Only the instructed understood what I was saying. But these are the things we need to research and bring them to the community. Right? Aw intombazana sisayisukela umuntu wesilisa ambona ahlanya athi ngizozilungisela. Uhlula umama wakhe nobabakho ungamlungisa wena. I'm going with that. So that's why sipush abantu ukuthi awungeni ku love relationship uzicommit ungakadluli ku counseling. Because in counseling we must assess you. Sikubona ukuthi una ama personality character traits afana nalo sisi na. Ngoba uma uthi ushada umuntu ongana ama personality character traits nawo, you know, kuzoba ne collision. And a collision akungekubekisele ngecollision enkulu. Uma umuntu wesifazane umuntu wazi ukuthi sibiza ukuthi it's a natural phenomenon, right? Yonke indoda ijealous ngento engeyayo. Siyavumelana? Amadoda afuna ukutshontsha mara ngeke utshontsheleke. Yes. Uzokhawata. Awuzokhawata ntwana. Indoda yahamba yanka ama fence iphula ama miri ngene emzini abantu mara ngeke ungene kwayo. Ufaka nabo bulldog angeke ungene lapha Mariel uyanka ungena amanye ama-out and ugawula abafazi bamanye ama-out amadoda ke lawo. But now those kind of things kufuneka intombazana ingena ukuthi yazi ukuthi uma uzicommit emntwini wesilisa uzicommit emntwini ojealous, ijealous yendoda emfazini wayo noma emntwini wayo ifana nesihoko. Ngibhale ku Facebook lamalanga la ngathi intombazana ungawathatha ama benefits endoda ungayithandi. Yebo, bhale ku Facebook last week ngithi uma uyintombazana ungawathatha ama benefits out ikuthengela izinto ukwenzela izinto yajabula mara uyazi ukuthi awuyithandi le out. Ngoba mhla yena ngelinye ilanga afuna ukuthi kube payback time and you are resent, he's going to kill you. As simple as that. He's going to kill you as that. Siyavumelana. So you don't make the mistake. Uma ngaba uyithandi out ungathathi izinto zayo itshele kahle ukuthi no cela udlulele phambili. Ngoba ijealous yendoda ifana nesihoko. Zokususa. So ukuthi umuntu athi thina abantu besifazane singama receptionist sadalelwa ukureceiver, don't receive izinto. Okay, let me go and close. Let me go and close. Guys, I was good sijabule kangakanani ukuthi nize. I don't know what's happening on other churches, but on behalf of my church, we say thank you. And two guys, we want you to know that we love you. Thank you so much, and we love you, and we will do something about this. Sibonge kakhulu. Guys, ngicela ukuthi kulesikhathi samanje is 1:05 bekufanele ngabe siqede ngo-1 ngoba isonto i-second session yethu ingena 11:30 iphuma ngo-1. It's strictly 1.5 hour. We exercise decency and order la kule sonto. Akusingila amasonto la ukuthi uhlatshelwa ama-chorus ahlatshelwe kuthi nakusela isikhathi esincane bathi ngaphandle kokuchitha isikhathi. Sizocela umfundisi eze ngaphambili. We don't work like that here. Decency and order. You tell people good 1.5 hour, it has to be that. That's why ama session ethu ayakhona ukugcwala ekseni nantambama. Manje siyabonga lo enkhona, but we have to push hard ukuthi nibe more than this go afternoon session. But mhlamba abaningi ba discourage kancane ukuthi ama second session ethu sweswelungisa babundobe ekseni kushunyayelwa ngesingisi ngifuna ukuthi ngesizulu konke kwenziwa ngesizulu mara afternoon seyini nje sinenzele ngesizulu akwenziwa ngesizulu sikhuluma isingisi la start to finish La. Amen. No, phela sinalabani babiza ukuthi namapipi what nithi yini. Phela when we create a legacy for these children, they must learn from us because it's all about leaving a legacy. So we have to speak English here. They must know, techniques and whatever we teach from that background. So, mama afternoon session ethu la isingisi baba. Amen. So now uzala uzele ilimi laka George sisebenzisa vernacular yesingisi and we think ukuthi we are going to grow from that ground.